Penguin Random House Audio presents The Ending Fire, a novel by Saara El-Arifi. Read for you by Nicole Lewis with Dominic Hoffman. Note to listeners, this program includes a downloadable PDF that contains the glossary and map from the book. For Jim, until the end.
Recalling the events of the battle drum as told by Griot Chef, accompanied by his djembe drum. Back again, I see. You are drawn to my tales like the audience of a ripping, the blood and gore, the pain and torture. And then the relief. That is what you come for. When it all, boom, 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 stops. Boom, boom, boom. The end approaches. You must feel it cresting the horizon, creeping closer like the coming of night. But before we venture toward the chaos and the plight, let us take a moment to linger in the colors of yesterday, and the yesterdays before that. Boom, boom, boom. Let's start with red, the heat of a burning ember, the shade of Sylah Eliana's blood. Boom, boom, boom. A voyage taken to lands unknown, the tannin taking a toll of souls. An abandoned port called Insuo. Then, bam, a cudgel knocks Sylah down, wakes in a chattel cart, hands now bound. Boom, boom, boom. I see you roll your eyes, knowing the Sharia's chains couldn't hold Sylah long, and it is true. Our stolen, our assassin, went on the run. But then came the storm and acid rain, and the manacles of death tightened around Sylah instead. And who comes to Sylah's rescue? Remember Jond, our fellow stolen, a little disagreeable, a lot righteous? He was sent to Tenio as a penance, to be abandoned all alone. But together the old friends fled the Sharia's enslavement along with Niha, a healer, and made their way to Zuwina. Boom, boom, boom. Io! Gone is the Academy of Wonders. Of 8 blood colors and teachers, floods have drowned it all. But look skyward, and you'll see the city of rain where the counselors of the Academy have made a new home. And here we learned the extent of their power. Boom. The first charter is the law of growth, the power to grow what is given. Boom. The second charter is the law of connection, the command of mind communication. Boom. The third charter is the law of healing, putting back together what was once broken. Boom. The fourth charter is the law of presence, flighting from one place to another. Boom. But once Sylah is healed, there is no aid to be had. Instead, we learn of the Zalam, whose use of bone marrow has shifted the balance of the world. Earthquakes and acid rain, floods and tsunamis. Though perhaps that is less shattering than the secrets at the center of the Academy. Boom. The fifth charter is the law of creation, to infuse life into the spiritless. Boom. Disbanded and forgotten, the fifth charter was once led by the prophet of the Zalam. 421 years ago he was executed, and his community exiled from Tenio. They set sail in 8 ships, each segregated by blood color. 4 boats settled on the Volcane Isles, and 2 the Tannin took as sacrifice to allow the final 2 entry to the land beyond, a land ripe for the plucking. Red and blue. Do you start to see it? The circle we have swum. Embers and dusters are descendants of the Zalam. And the Tannin? A monster formed by the Academy to hunt down the exiled, whose nightly movements cause the tide wind that plagues us. A monster that roams still. Boom, boom, boom. So, while we linger by the blue shores of the Wardens Empire, let's recall how our blue-blooded fared. Our disciple in the keep, Saara El-Arifi. Boom, boom, boom. The Tidewind relief bill taken to the court. Anoor seeks allies to fortify her thoughts. Uka's lifeblood spilled over dinner. Gone is the mother, the warden, the sinner. Accused by her peers, Anoor seeks out the killer. Boom, boom, boom. Focused on her salvation and not on the Tidewind, Anoor stays in hiding while the wardens home in. Only her grandmother, Saara El-Arifi, seems to understand her and takes over her efforts in making Tidewind shelters. With Anoor distracted, will Saara be the one to help the citizens of the Empire? Boom, boom, boom. Do you see my sly smile? You know something's a-brewing, and perhaps our ghosting friend will know. To our very own Hassa beetle we go. Boom, boom, boom. A promise from a friend. A promise kept. Look after Anoor, is what Sylah said. Hassa's time in the city is spent underground, but above she finds bodies with holes in their bones. Together with Kwame, she investigates the unknown. Boom, boom, boom. Bone marrow it was, taken from the hip bone and the back. A slow death, sucking them dry worse than the rack. Does it remind you of anything I said a few moments ago? The Zalam's power rooted in the magic of bone marrow. But who was it in charge of the shelters? Whose orders were followed? Who was Anoor's mentor? Boom, boom, boom. So we come to the final hue of the story, the yellow of sunlight. Our yellow-blooded member of the Zalam, raised in God Kabut's eye. Boom, boom, boom. Nayeli was the name she'd had all her life, then claimed she was reborn as Kabut's wife. Searching for the child of fire the catalyst foretold, she ventured across the sea, across the color threshold, and became warden, an empire controlled. Boom, boom, boom. Nayeli, wife, Saara. 3 names she'd had until grandmother was uttered, and it was then that Anoor was discovered. Was she the one that the prophet foretold? The one whose battle drum will start the ending fire proposed? Boom. Do you start to see the web of the story? The silver threads tying each piece to the other. But one is broken, ripped apart in the middle. Boom, boom, boom. Kwame, a spectacle, a ripping, no longer with us. Boom, boom. It was as if the world felt the grief too, for leagues away the shard palace fell, and the queen of Tenio was taken from the world. Boom, boom, boom. The colors of yesterday have swirled to take shape. Boom. Clear. Hassa's heart torn, like Kwame's organs. Now alone she spends her time mastering bloodwork. Boom. Red. Sylah, whose fury inspired the blood-forged, leaves the battle behind to return to her love. Boom. Blue. Anoor's been caught in the spider's game. The disciples, her new allies, aren't what they seem. The sandstorm and the Zalam are one and the same. Boom. Yellow.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?